Good morning. Are we live? We are live. Hello. And how is everyone today? So, those of you who may not have been on my page before, my name's Dion and Yogalistic is my page. So, we're doing these yoga sessions Monday to Friday at 10 o'clock during this coronavirus COVID-19 lockdown, to just stay connected and keep our bodies moving and stay healthy. Good morning, Sue from London. Good morning, Ali. How's the Star Wars marathon going, Ali? How many are you into now? Okay, so the weird thing is I stopped using my phone because it was telling me it was full and kept kicking me out. So I'm using my mum's phone on Wi-Fi, which apparently is not so bad, because I know a lot of you people are having some problems with freezing and all of that kind of stuff. Oh, everyone's coming in now. Jules, Claire, Jan. Sorry, I'll have to do this later. One Star Wars to go. Valerie, good morning, good morning. So, and I was getting a bit, I thought I might put my data on and go outside and do yoga outside. I was kind of getting a bit complacent with my phone. And I just looked, and I've actually got no signal on my phone. So the Wi-Fi is okay, but signal strength at the moment, particularly here in the valley, seems to be really poor, dropping in and out. So I don't know what's going on. Good morning, Sarah. So is anyone else having trouble with their signal, their phone signal strength in the valley at the moment? Anyways, here we are. How is everyone today? How is everybody coping with lockdown? Are you all staying sane? So, is it keeping our physical bodies healthy? Morning, Brenda. Good morning, Maureen. Keeping our physical bodies healthy with, our yoga every day. There's a lot of you. Good morning, Says. A lot of you dropping in to practice with me most mornings, and then a lot of you also doing Sarah's classes afterwards. So we're keeping our physical bodies healthy. How are you keeping your mental health strong is what I want to know. So I know for some people are really enjoying this lockdown period because it's given time to just slow the pace down a bit, to reflect, to maybe catch up on all those things around the home and garden you've not been doing. It's opening up so many opportunities for people to reconnect with friends and family in different ways. So, we want to be with them, we want to feel a contact, we want to get a hug. But maybe some people have never really used the social media or these apps that we like, video conferencing and stuff like that. So I know there's a lot of people out there at the moment having big family get-togethers on things like Zoom, the Zoom app that you can download, and having family quizzes and stuff like that with their family that's all around the world that they never would have done before this lockdown. So what are you doing that's new to you during lockdown? How are you connecting with people, and how are you staying sane? Who is keeping you sane right now? So, a few people on right now, good morning and thank you so much. I said on my little post we were going to do back bends today. But I haven't really covered back bends in any of my classes. But actually, when I put this little sequence together, it is actually about moving our spine in every single direction. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about the back bends. Hi, Judith. We're going to talk a lot about the back bends and go into them maybe a little bit more deeply. But we're going to move the spine in all different directions today, which is going to keep the spine really healthy. Please do work really carefully. With anything that you do anyway, but particularly if you have any vertebra, any disc or vertebra problems in your spine, really be careful. More with forward folding than back bending, right? Forward folding can be really damaging for the spine if you don't support it properly with the core, with the abdominals. So really be careful. Jan, you've done your hair this morning. Jan, my mum cut it, and this is the pleasure of living with a hairdresser. See, no roots for me now. So yeah, my mum coloured and cut it at the weekend. I haven't actually washed it this morning, Jan. That was yesterday I washed it. Probably just not got it took me out. I brushed it today. That might be it. Yeah, so back bending is quite good for the spine. Forward bending is not so great if you've got discal vertebral problems in the back. So always forward folds with bent knees. Always, if you've got any back problems. If you're strong in the core, strong in the back, yeah, we can do straight legs, but please always watch your body. Also, watch with your twists. So never really, you don't ever want to force your body into a position it doesn't want to go into anyway. Just working with your breath, let your body open in its own time. Thanks, Jules. Morning, Arlene. Yeah, and listen to your body, listen to what it tells you. So never force, never push beyond resistance. But if you do have an underlying injury there, even if it's, Claire's signal's not great today. Even if it's, feeling okay at the moment, sometimes you can get a bit complacent with our bodies and you think, oh, this is feeling okay, and we try and push our body a little bit too much. You know what it's like when you've been ill and then you have a day when, oh, I actually feel a bit better today, and then you go and do too much and then your body goes, no. So, just always be a little bit careful. So, we're going to move the spine. We're going to be seated for a little while. So, Sarah, cross legs. So, I'm going to move back onto my mat. And this is the way I sit. I bring one heel into the groin, other heel in front. You might be seated more cross-legged if your hips aren't open. You might need to cross at your shins or ankles. It's actually quite uncomfortable when you get the bone on bone. It can feel quite uncomfortable. So if we're here and our knees are up, or if we're here and our knees are up, sit on a little cushion or a block or a folded up towel or something like that, just to get a little bit lift. Morning, Susie. Morning, Katie. Just to get a little bit more lift in the pelvis area, in the spine there. We want to have a nice long spine. So just take a moment to ground down through those sit bones. Whatever you're sitting on right now, whether it be a block or a cushion or the floor, just take a moment to really feel the sit bones ground down into the floor. And then lengthen up, take a big inhale and imagine you're drawing your breath up from the base of your spine all the way up through the crown of the head. So we're grounding down, we're rooting to the floor, and we are lengthening through the spine. So you never want to move your spine in any kind of position if it's all compressed, because that's where you're going to put pressure on those discs in between the vertebrae, and that's when it's going to be pushing out. So you always want to create space between the vertebrae, give space around the disc to move. So we lengthen up. I'm going to do a seated cat-cow. So normally we do these on the hands and knees. So I'm going to turn side on so you can see how the spine moves. So I'm going to take hands on the knees, but remember, cross-legged is not good for you. You can always take the feet out in front and take hold behind the knees or around the shins, and you can do the same movement here. Most important is to have that nice straight spine. So we're going to inhale, and as we inhale, we're going to lift the heart up to the sky and draw the shoulders back. As we exhale, we're going to pull in the belly, round the spine, shoulders forward, chin to chest. Inhaling, bring the heart forward and up, extend through the neck. Remember, we don't want to let the head drop back, we're lifting through the neck. Exhaling, round the spine, chin to chest. Inhaling, spine long, heart lifting, shoulders back and down. Exhaling to round. Inhaling to lift. I think this is really nice to do with the eyes closed. So once you've got this movement happening, you don't actually need to look at me. Exhaling, we round the spine, chin to chest, belly drawing back. Inhaling, just feel your breath. Shoulders back, neck is long. Exhaling, rounding the spine, chin to chest. Inhaling, spine long. Last one, round the spine, belly in, chin to chest. And inhaling, coming up, neutral spine. We're going to interlock the fingers, bring them to the heart. And inhale right here, nice big breath, breathing all the way into the heart. Exhale, push palms forward, same action, round the spine, chin to chest, suck that belly in, push the palms forward away from you. Inhale, take the palms to the sky as we lift the heart, stretch up through the sides of the body. Exhaling to the left. Keep both sit bones on the floor. Inhaling center. Exhaling to the right. Inhaling center. Exhale back to the heart. Oh, relax the shoulders. Change the interlock of your fingers, so that little finger that's on the bottom now, take the other little finger on the bottom. I know sometimes it's a struggle. It's like, oh, I'll never do my fingers that way. Bring them to the heart. Inhaling here. Exhale, round the spine, push the palms forward, chin to chest. Oh, that's just a lovely stretch across the back of the shoulders. Inhaling to the sky. Exhaling to the right. You're going to hear me groan and enjoy a lot today because I love these spinal movements. Inhaling center. Exhaling to the left. And inhaling center. Now lift up and release the hands. And twisting from your waist, you're going to bring that right hand down onto the left thigh and that left hand to the back. Okay, remember we want to extend the spine before we move deeply into it. So lengthen tailbone down to the floor. Feel the breath draw up the spine, create space between the bones of the spine. As you exhale, move from your belly. So moving your belly button to the left, your rib cage, your chest, your shoulders. And if it feels okay on the neck, you can look over that left shoulder. Every inhale, lengthen through the spine. Imagine someone is drawing you up from the crown of the head towards the ceiling. But both sit bones are staying firmly rooted down into the floor. Remember, we need to root before we grow. We're breathing here, don't hold on to the breath. Inhale, lengthens, the exhale, twist a little bit deeper. And slowly moving back to center. So we move the head, neck, shoulders, ribs, and the belly. And we inhale, stretch up. Twist into your right. So bringing that left hand down on the right thigh, right hand to the back. Lengthen through the spine. And twisting from your waist, ribs, chest, shoulders. And looking over that right shoulder. Lengthen through the neck. Shoulders down. Want a big space between the shoulders and the ears. And we want big length through the waist, the ribs. Few breaths. And releasing the head, the shoulders, the ribs, the belly, and come center. Okay, it's one of my favourites. So we're going to lift that left arm up to the sky. Right hand next to the sides. And we're going to lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And keeping this length. So you don't want you to drop into the waist here. We're lengthening up out to the right side of the waist. And we're going to fold to the right. So if you collapse your spine now, what you will feel is this lower rib gets stuck under the diaphragm. It's really uncomfortable. So we're lengthening and then we're folding. That left sit bone stays firmly onto the floor, so we don't want to move over. You're going to lose your stretch. Anchor that left sit bone down and really reach through those fingertips. If you're really flexible in the spine, the waist, you might be able to bring that elbow on the floor. Whoa, that's super strong. That feels good there. Or you might be up here. This might be your stretch today, and that feels great as well. Next inhale, pull in that belly, so strong belly as we come center. Bring the hand down, and right hand are going to lift up. On your exhale, we're going to fold to the left. Right sit bone stays on the floor, lengthen through the waist, so feel lots of space. This right hip is pressing down, and then we're lifting the waist, the ribs, the chest, the shoulders through their fingertips. You can come a little bit lower if that feels good, or really feeling it in the side body. I think opening the side body is just my favourite. I always feel really tight around the side of the waist. So this just is delicious for me. Be interested to know how many of you like these side body stretches. Next inhale, come center. I'm going to do a similar thing. Left arm lifts up. This time I'm going to place the hand behind the head. So I'm really, when you look behind, I'm really spreading my fingers and letting my head rest in my hand. So I'm encompassing the whole of the back of the head with my hand. You really want to be able to bring your head to completely relax in your hand. We're lifting the spine and we're going to exhale over to the right. And then this is where the head and the hand action comes into play, because we're going to start to twist through the waist up towards the ceiling. So you're going to twist your rib cage and your heart up towards the ceiling. And let your head be super heavy in that hand. So don't take any strain or weight in the neck at all. Let your hand take the whole weight of your head, and your head is pretty heavy. And then you might feel this nice stretch from your tricep down into your shoulder and all the way down through the waist. So you've got a little spinal twist, the side body stretch, tricep stretch. Oh. And with the belly drawing in, remember whenever we move out of any kind of side or forward movement, the spine, we want to keep active in the belly. Come up to center, release that hand, right hand lifts up, drop it behind the head, and move to the left. So get that side opening first, and then we inhale deeply, and as we exhale we move through the waist, the ribs, the chest, the heart to the sky, gaze to the sky. Let that head be heavy in your hand. Feel that nice stretch. I have got a lot of postures written down on my little notepad today to work through today. I don't think we're going to get through them all, because just spending some time in these little stretches actually is more important than trying to whiz through a lot of postures. So we'll just see how we get on. Just taking a few breaths in and out through the nose. But it's really important to warm up our spine in the right way before we start to go into any extreme movements. Next inhale, all the way center. Oh, release the hand and come down onto your belly for little type of cobra. So again, remember, you want a nice long spine, so always take a moment. Don't just flop down onto the belly. Lengthen your spine. Crawl the rib cage up the mat away from the hips. Move the legs and the hips down the mat. All 10 toes on the floor. For the moment, my feet are a hip distance apart. My feet aren't together, my thighs aren't together, just a little space between them. We're going to bring the arms forward, reaching out, so really crawl forward. My arms are stretching out as far as they will go. And then we're going to bring the elbows back in line with the shoulders. So like goalpost arms or cactus arms. So the elbows come in line with the shoulders and the elbows are hovering off the floor. I'm going to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Take a couple of breaths here. And then on your next inhale, maybe you can peel the chest away from the floor a little bit. Take a couple of breaths here. And exhale, lower the chest back down. And inhale, stretch those arms forward, reach forward. So remember, the tops of the thighs, the pubic bone, the front of the hips are staying down into the floor. We want to create a lot of length in the lower back. So we inhale, elbows, shoulder height. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Slide them down the back towards the hips. And next inhale, if you can, maybe we can lift an inch or so off the floor. Peeling the chest, peeling the ribs, the neck stays long, no tension in your neck at all. Neck is neutral, all 10 toes stay on the floor, 10 toenails, tops of the feet on the floor. Bring the hands to the floor, press up onto the knees, bend towards the heels, stretch those arms out. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, little downward dog. Remember, you don't want to drop this rib cage down to the floor. Ribs drawing in towards the spine. Walk the feet up the mat towards the hands.
Hands on the hips, bend in the knees, pull in the belly, lift the head, lift the chest, all the way to the top. Whoa. Let's do a couple of flow, hands together. Inhaling down, out and up. Exhaling to the floor, knees are bent. Inhaling halfway up, shoulders back. Exhaling all the way over, nose to toes. Inhaling all the way up, pelvic floor lifting, belly is in, arms to the sky. Exhaling back to the heart. Inhaling down, out and up. Exhaling to the floor, soften the knees, bum is high, spine is long. Inhale halfway up, so you can take hands to shins here if that feels good. If you're more flexible, you might be on the floor. All the way over, tuck the chest towards the thighs. And all the way up, push into those legs. Reach for the top. Exhale back to the heart. Inhaling down, out and up. One more time. Exhaling to the floor. Halfway up, spine is long, reaching forward through the crown of the head. All the way over, gaze to toes. All the way up, belly is in. Exhale, hands to the heart. I'm going to whiz off one layer. Okay, take that off, throw it over there. Okay, mountain pose. So we've done this quite a few times through these classes. Little space between the feet. Anchor your feet into the floor. So feel the weight even through the fronts and the backs of the feet, through the sides of the feet, the little toe side, the big toe side. Really feel the energy drawing the feet down into the floor. At the same time, we want this energy coming up the legs. So the feet are anchoring into the floor, but then we lift up through the thighs, active legs. Kneecaps lift, pelvic floor lift, belly lifts. Spine is long, lots of space between the ribs and the hips. Shoulders down, upper abdominal muscles active, so we're going to suck them in. Breathing across the chest, so relax your jaw, let the tongue drop away from the roof of the mouth. We're not holding on to the breath, we're standing nice and tall. And turn the palms out, lift the arms up over the head, shoulders down, pelvic floor lifting, belly in, don't forget that. As you've lifted the arms, this might have happened, we don't want this, we don't want to drop into the back. Keep this abdominal muscle, these abdominal muscles active, draw them in, lengthen through the back, we're not back bending here. Interlock the fingers. And make a steeple. So you can't see my hands right now, but they're like this. Got a steeple type hand. Shoulders down, pelvic floor up. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And then exhale to your right. So keep that left foot anchored into the floor. Same as you did at the side bends on the floor. So we need to lift up through the right side of the rib cage. And exhale over. You don't want to let that lower rib get trapped in the waist there on the right side. We're lengthening. You might feel a little tremor happening through the body. That's okay. Your core muscles are working. The pelvic floor's up, the belly is in. If this is too much or you've got any spine problems, keep one hand down so you've got more of a supported side bend. This unsupported side bend is really strong. Next inhale, come up center. It's so important to keep zipped up through the front of the body. Exhaling over to the left. Weight stays into that right foot is anchored, the hip is down, abdominal muscles active. It's okay to feel the trembling. I'm feeling a little bit here through the waist. Relax your jaw. You can breathe here, you can. It's good to breathe. Next inhale, come up center. Whoa. And again, I'm going to turn side on, so I'm going to forward fold. Going to inhale and lengthen. Exhale, bend your knees and push your bum away. Reach forward with those hands. So you're trying to keep the hands in line with the ears. So we're lengthening forward, lengthening forward, lengthening forward.
Next exhale, all the way to the floor. So you want to use your thighs to rest your belly and your rib cage on. So bend your knees as much as is possible to do this. You don't want to be round in here. This is not what we want. So if we need to bend deeper, lift the bum higher, extend the spine. Those fingers, we've still got our hands in our steeple position, are down towards the floor. And we're going to slide them forward as much as you can. Try and keep weight in your heels. So you don't want to come onto your toes and fall on your face here. Weight is in the heels. And feel that lovely stretch and extension of the spine. Neck is long. Gaze is down towards the toes. Next inhale. Again, any back problems here, you're going to take your hands to the hips and give yourself some support to come up. If you're feeling a bit stronger, root down into the floor with the legs if you're trying to push the floor away. Pull in the belly. Inhale, lift the arms halfway and lengthen. Exhale. Next inhale, push down to those legs, tighten the bum all the way to the top. Exhale, hands come down. Whoa, did you feel that nice length in the spine? It's a really good stretch. So we've moved, we've twisted, we've gone forward, we've gone side. So now it's time to come back. So your feet are going to be wider. They're going to be at least as wide as the outside of your hips. You don't want them really wide. This is not what we want. But outside edges of the feet, about same level as the outside of the hips. And all 10 toes are facing forward. So you don't want, like, are these pigeon feet when they turn out, or is that when they turn in? Anyway, you don't want the toes turning out. You want them facing forward, because when you turn your toes out, your hips open. When your hips open, they can squeeze on the sacral joint at the back. So if we're squeezing this sacral joint and then we back bend, it's not going to be good on the back. So your toes are facing forward. I'm not going to bring the hands up yet. We're going to bend the knees. You might see this action. I'm going to put my arm so you can see. You want to bring your hips forward and up. So we're tucking under. So see this again. So you just do a few little rocking movements here with the pelvis. So bum is out, bum is under. And then keep it here. So your hip bones at the front, you want to be facing up towards the ceiling. I'm going to drop down into the knees. So you might be feeling this in the calves. You might feel it in the thighs. But we're just going to stay here for a little while. Just feel those legs. Drop down a little bit deeper. Get this action of lengthening. So pubic bone up towards the belly button. Pelvis under. Belly is sucking in. Active through the front of the body. Okay, press into the feet. Straighten those legs and come all the way up. Okay, so that's the action we've got going from the hips down to the feet. So we're going to do this again. Bend the knees. Feet are grounded. Lift those hip bones forward, pubic bone up towards the belly button. And this time, take your shoulder blades back and open your heart up. So I'm just going to squeeze the shoulder blades. You can take hands on the hips if you want. Squeeze the shoulder blades, squeeze those elbows together behind. So it's looking like this. Squeeze, 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 squeeze those elbows. Pelvis is tucked under, bending through the knees, lifting up the pelvic floor. Pulling in the belly, so really activate through the front of your body. Imagine you've got a zip from your pubic bone up to your upper ribs. You should feel a wobble and a shake when you engage those muscles. I am shaking all over. Press into the floor, come all the way up. So if you don't have a shake there, if you don't have a little tremor going on, you're not engaging the front of your body. So you really need to engage through here. This is going to support the back. Okay. Either of those two options are available to you now. If you want to take it a little bit further, this is what we're going to do. Again, 10 toes are facing forward, bend through those knees, pelvis tucks under, really sit down into those feet, pelvis under. And this time, imagine someone has got the front of your rib cage and they are lifting up, 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 up. You imagine your heart is being lifted up, 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 hands by the chest.
Neck is neutral, so I'm going to keep my chin tucked in because I don't like my head dropping back. But if dropping back and looking up to the sky feels okay for you, you can do that. But look, we're lengthening through the lower back and we're back bending through the upper back. Belly is active. Press into those feet, zip up, come all the way up. Whoa, it's tough, isn't it? Hopefully you're okay. Hopefully you engaged all the front of the body so you didn't feel your back taking that pressure, okay? If you did at any point, you need to come out, okay? So just that you're not quite ready for that, and you can just start work on this action. Shoulders back, pelvis under. Okay, taking a wide leg stretch. So feet are really wide, toes are facing forward, hands on the hips, bend those knees, push the bum away, bring the chest forward halfway. Chest is parallel to the floor. Extend through the spine, through the crown of the head. And exhale, folding forward down to the floor. You can release the hands, take the hands to the floor. Release the neck. So my neck often looks like a funny angle. My head looks lifted because I'm often trying to look up at the camera or somewhere else, but you want to have a relaxed neck, crown of the head to the floor. Your hands might be further in front of the feet, or if you've got the flexibility, you might be able to walk your hands back so your toes and your fingers are in the same line. Fingers pointing forward in the same direction as the toes. Hands are about shoulder distance apart. Your exhale, you're going to bend your elbows, drawing your chest towards the space in the thighs. Just gently pushing down into the floor, pushing the floor down and forward. Your inhale, lift your tailbone higher. So bend your knees and then lift your tailbone to the sky. If you're tight in the hamstrings and you've got straight legs, you're going to really round the spine, and we don't want that. So bend your knees more than bending the spine. Next inhale, going to lift the head and chest halfway. Exhale, hands back to the hips. Pull in the belly. Inhale, all the way up. Yeah, bring those feet together. Oh, it feels good to move the spine. Facing the short edge of your mat. Inhaling, down, out, and up with the arms. Exhaling, fold forward. Inhaling, halfway up. Exhaling all the way over, and step your feet back, back, back. Take the knees onto the floor and gently lower belly and chest to the floor. Okay, so again we want length, so I'm just going to release my hips down the mat, bring my rib cage up. So for back bends we need an open front body, so that means hip flexors, quadriceps need to be open, chest and shoulders need to be open, so we can really take full advantage of a back bend. So we're just going to do some stretch for the quads and the hip flexors. So, right knee bends. Reach back with that right arm and take hold of your foot or your ankle. Now, if you can't reach, just take the foot in towards the bum. Reach back as far as you can. Maybe you can't reach the thing, but it's going to open up the shoulder, and as if you're trying to reach for your foot. You may not be able to get hold of it, that's okay, but that action of trying to bring the foot to the bum is still going to stretch. If this is too much, coming down onto your chest is going to be a little bit easier. But if you can take hold easy and you're not finding much of a stretch in the front of the thigh, come up high onto that elbow. And as we come up high, both shoulders staying forward, so don't compromise the posture just to reach the foot. So don't come up onto the side and have this shoulder back and be all twisted. You want your heart and shoulders and face to all be facing the front of your mat, the short edge of your mat. Hugging that heel in towards the bum and pushing your heart forward and up. So really lengthen through the upper part of the spine. Feel a few breaths here.
So I'm just taking a little bit of a different hand position because my quads are quite long and it takes me a little bit of extra effort to really feel a stretch in the front of the thigh and the groin there. Oh, please don't force your knee in any way. So you don't want to be pressing the foot out to the side. The shin stays in line with the thigh bone. You don't want it coming out to the side. You don't want to be twisting your knee in any way at all. Release that leg. In fact, just demonstrating that to you then, I felt a little twinge in the knee, so it's really not good. Left foot coming in. Reach back with the left hand. Maybe you can reach your ankle, your foot, maybe not today. Doesn't matter. You do what you can do. If you can reach, drawing your foot in towards your bum. Lifting your heart, shoulders back. Neck is long. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, it feels nice on this side. I can tell you should be able to tell which side is more open and which side is a little bit more challenging. My left side definitely feels tighter. I can really feel this in that left quadricep muscle and the left hip flexor. Good. Release that thigh. Oh, stretch those legs out. Okay, now we've got options. We've got two options. Again, I'm just opening up my spine. So anything, if you feel your spine's kind of compressed in again, just take a moment to lengthen. Okay, our options are locust pose. So our hands are coming down towards the hips. Palms are up, backs of the hands to the floor. Now you can either keep the hands on the floor and you lift right leg and down and left leg and down. Think about length more than height. You don't want to bend the knee. This is not what we want. We're thinking length, 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 length. Or you can bring both legs together and hands together off the floor. So work with me here. So right leg lifting and down, left leg lifting and down. Notice how that feels. If it feels good, both legs and chest together. Exhale down. Both legs and chest together, reaching towards the feet. If this feels too much today, you go back to single legs. Okay, just working through the options. Inhale, lifting. If this is feeling good, you want a little bit more of a challenge and you could reach your ankle, your feet in that quad stretch. We're going to bend both knees. We're going to reach back, take hold of both ankles. If you can, flex those feet up to the sky. And then you're going to push your shins into your hands. So really push your feet away from your bum towards the wall behind you. Keep pushing, pushing, pushing. It's going to lift the chest off the floor. Or keep pushing and then push your feet towards the sky. It's going to lift the thighs off the floor. So we've got big opening through the front of the body. Big opening through the shoulders, flexibility across the front of the shoulders. The thighs, the hip flexors. That beautiful back bend. Make sure the neck is relaxed and released. Relax the jaw, relax the tongue. Come all the way down. Okay, we're going to do all them one more time just to see. So either right leg lifts and lowers, left leg lifts and lowers, or both together, reaching towards the feet and lower. Reach towards the feet, chest and legs together and lower. Or this is another option, bend those feet and you can lift right foot up to the sky and down, left foot up to the sky and down. If you were struggling to get your thighs off the floor in that back bend, this is a really good option. But you keep both hip bones anchored to the floor, so you don't want to be rolling over to the side to get the thigh off. Both hip bones are anchored to the floor. If this feels good, you might be able to press up onto your elbows, shoulders back. One thigh up, the other thigh up. Are you still with me? If you found the one that you like yet, the one that feels a little bit challenging, but you feel like you're working, it's okay. You don't want to feel compression in the back, you can work here. Or let's do this final pose again. For those of you that want to, taking hold of the feet or the ankles, really push your feet or your shins into your hands towards the wall behind. Notice how your chest lifts, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then push your feet up to the sky. Few breaths. We can do this. This is called the bow pose, Dhanurasana, the bow pose. And your arms are the string of the bow and the arrow fires out of your belly button. So just imagine that kind of shape you want to create with your body. Exhale all the way down. Oh, release the legs. Bring the hands to the chest. Push down into the hands. Come up onto the knees. Sit back onto the heels and just give the spine a moment to readjust. Didn't do too bad. I've only missed out one final posture. We're not going to do it today. We're not going to do it. I think we've done enough of the back bends today. So, and we've gone a little bit over time, but that's okay. We always start. We never really start at 10 o'clock, do we? Anyway, we always give a few minutes for people to come on. So, just to take that opposite movement of the spine, you can keep your knees together, your thighs together if this feels good. I like to open my knees a little bit wider to let the belly and the rib cage and chest come down between the thighs. I'm going to reach those arms forward and really, really reach and stretch forward. Get that nice length of the spine. Few breaths here. And really breathe deep down into your belly and your rib cage. Feel the back of your rib cage expand and open. I'm still here, haven't frozen, just enjoying this breath and this expansion of the spine. Okay, I'm going to walk the hands back towards the knees. Bring those legs out in front. It's always good. I know a lot of you now just whiz off and make a quick cuppa before you join Sarah's class. But it's always good to take a few minutes, even if it's just 2 minutes, to really let the body relax. So set the legs open slightly, the arms relax down by the sides of the body. Always turn the palms up towards the sky. Yeah, there's an energetic reason for it, but for a physical point of view, just rolls back the shoulders. And when the shoulders are rolled back, the chest is more open, the breath comes a little bit easier. Just let the whole body sink down towards the floor. Now we've done quite a lot of work in the spine today in all different directions. If you're feeling any tension in your lower back, bend your knees, feet to the floor. Feet are wide, let the knees drop in towards each other. And just allow the back of your hips, the small of your back, the back of the waist just melt down towards the floor. Just taking a few breaths. So you can stay there for another few minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, however long you want to stay there for. I am going to come up and finish off because nobody wants to see me lying on the floor for 10 minutes. So thank you all for joining me. Again, we've not done that sequence before. We've not worked the spine in that way before. Jan was so good. Thank you. Thank you, Jan. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So yeah, drop me a message. Let me know how you enjoyed moving the spine in those different directions today. What day is it today? Is it Thursday? Is it Friday again tomorrow? Is it? Have I lost a day? I don't know. I don't even know. It's April. I know it's April. I think it's Friday tomorrow, which means it's Friday flow day. So we're going to do some flowy class tomorrow. So, huge thanks. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Don't forget your gratitudes for today. Remember, every successful every successful person in the world writes their gratitudes every single day. So think about your gratitudes to yourself, to your yoga practice, to someone or something in your life that you feel grateful for today. And it doesn't have to be anything huge. It could be like the smell of your first cup of coffee, the sound of your dog snoring, the breeze upon your face. I put a little post out this week on my profile page asking people what 3 things they were grateful for today, and it was so lovely to see all the different things that people were grateful for. Everything from fairy liquid to family and friends. Moonlight, sunlight, the sun came really high on those list of gratitudes, which was very interesting to see. So stay happy, stay healthy. Until tomorrow morning, namaste.